Now, I want Neera to come in, but how much they won the election. And as you know, it used to, both parties used to say, you won the election, Mr. President, as long as you don't send up someone who's done something terribly wrong or has said something terribly tragic, that I'm going to say, I disagree, but you get your picks. Should that be, early in the Obama administration, the Republican philosophy?
Well, the president, of course, gets to pick the judges, but we need the president to choose judges who aren't just going to rubber stamp an agenda, but who will faithfully apply the laws. There are Democrat-appointed judges who can do that, but unfortunately, most of the Supreme Court shortlist that people are talking about seems like they would be more agenda-driven, more rubber stamp type judges.
And so, Neera, when you're looking at people saying, let's send this name over to the White House, let's recommend this one, when we see somebody tell them this person, what is your goal? After 8 years of George W. Bush, where do you see this in the long term? Where do you hope to be after 4 years? And I assume you want 8 years of an Obama presidency. How do you want to change America's judicial system and its impact on society?
You know, I think this is the very big difference between progressives and conservatives, because you've seen the most activist judges be conservative judges. We have a Supreme Court that just had a major ruling that undid 100 years of precedent. You have, I mean, basically the nominees of progressives, the ones we're putting forward, the ones that have been in the mix, the ones that my colleague here says are radical, are very mainstream nominees. Elena Kagan, Merrick Garland. Nobody thinks these people are radical. There's no mainstream views of these people that people would argue is so out to left center. And that's why I think the president has a tremendous advantage as he moves forward in this process, because his nominees are mainstream.
I want to ask you something more broad as we close. You use the word mainstream, radical, conservative, liberal. This is fine. It's a polite confrontation. It's about issues. It's about cases in the law. There's a broader conversation in our society right now that in some cases, a limited number of cases, I want to be clear, goes over the line. Wolf Blitzer interviewed the former president of the United States, Bill Clinton, today, and he offered some observations on this in the context that he was the president when Oklahoma City happened, and that anniversary is coming up on Monday. I want you to listen to the former president.
President Obama is different and symbolizes the increasing diversity of America. And both of them, and for him, it's like a symbol of, he symbolizes the loss of control, of predictability, of certainty, of clarity that a lot of people need for their psychic well-being. And so I worry about it.
Do you sense that as you talk to the conservative community? Are you worried about? He was very complimentary of the Tea Party people. He said, I don't disagree with them, but they're just protesting it, and that's a God-given American right, and God bless them. But he senses a bit of a tension that he's afraid is going to get more militant. Do you sense that?
I think the people are getting fed up with the expansion of government, and I think we've heard some people talk about Supreme Court should be finding things for the little guy. I think the little guy is worried about the government expanding, getting into all of the day-to-day lives of Americans in ways that the Constitution it should be limiting.
But debating that like this is healthy. Do you sense, Neera, do you see that a growing number of people, or do you worry, like President Clinton, that there are people who want to go over the line?
Absolutely. We were very honored to have the president at the Center for American Progress today, and I think part of what he was saying is, you know, when we have these debates, they're important, but when they go over the line and get into the politics of personal destruction, when we go into and labeling people who are moderate radicals and extremists, and there's rhetoric that people want to take over people's lives, I think, you know, that crosses a line. Everyone respects the right to protest your government. I strongly respect that right, but the idea of attacking people personally and saying they want to do something to you, they want to take your rights away, they want to attack you, when you make those people in government the enemy, I think we do actually have to worry about where that will go.
Well, I appreciate the polite disagreement here. We will continue this conversation. We have the particular nominee, Mr. Liu. We also have a big Supreme Court case coming. We'll keep in touch as that goes on. Thank you so much, Carrie and Neera, for coming in. And you've heard our guest thoughts on the upcoming court fight. Later, we'll hear what you have to say.